Most people want to make more money in 2025, but they ask the wrong question. They ask, how can I get rich? What they should be asking is, how can I think differently about money? Because money doesn't start in your wallet, it starts in your mind. Let me explain. Mindset is the foundation of wealth. Everything starts with belief. If you believe making money is hard, unfair, or limited, your actions will reflect that scarcity. But what if you believe that wealth is a skill, like leadership, like communication, something you can train your brain to master? Then you'd start looking for possibility, not limitations. This is the first step. Change how you think about money, and money will change how it shows up in your life. 2, focus on value, not just income. We don't get paid for time, we get paid for value. Your brain must shift from, how can I earn more hours, to how can I solve bigger problems? The moment you start thinking in terms of impact, people start paying attention. And when people pay attention, they pay. 3, habits create financial trajectories. You don't need a breakthrough, you need a routine. Small habits. Reading 10 pages a day, tracking expenses, investing a little each month are compound interest in action. They may not feel powerful today, but give them 365 days and you'll see just how far your brain can take your bank account. 4, embrace learning over earning initially. Most people chase money, but the successful chase knowledge. Warren Buffett still reads 5 hours a day. Why? Because what you know determines the decisions you make. And the decisions you make determine your results. So in 2025, train your brain by learning first. The earning will follow. 5, surround yourself with financially smart people. Your brain is a sponge and it soaks up whatever it's around. If you're constantly surrounded by people who complain about money, you will inherit their struggles. But if you place yourself near those who think in terms of investments, assets, and cash flow, your brain starts upgrading automatically. Find mentors, join communities, listen to thinkers. Proximity is power. 6, delay gratification, multiply results. Here's the secret most people ignore. It's not about how fast you make money, it's about how long you can keep it working for you. Train your brain to say no now so it can say yes to something bigger later. Discipline is the multiplier. Every moment you resist impulse, you strengthen your wealth muscle. Final thought, if you want to make more money in 2025, don't start with hustle, start with thought, start with belief. Start with rewiring your brain for long-term success, because the mind that builds wealth is far more valuable than the money itself. Train your brain and your future will pay you, absolutely. Here's an expanded version of the first keynote. Mindset is the foundation of wealth, written in an educational and inspirational tone in the style of Simon Sinek, up to 500 words. Most people don't realize that their financial future doesn't begin with money, it begins with mindset. The beliefs you carry about wealth, success, and possibility shape every financial decision you make. Before a person earns their first dollar or makes their first investment, they've already formed an internal narrative about what they deserve, what they're capable of, and what's even possible for them. And that narrative, that's the invisible script driving the results they see in real life. If you believe that making money is only for the lucky, the privileged, or the connected, you will subconsciously limit your own efforts. If you think wealth is about greed, you'll resist pursuing it, even when opportunities are right in front of you. On the other hand, when you truly believe that money is a tool, a vehicle for freedom, service, and growth, you stop fearing it and start learning how to build it. Mindset shapes behavior. Someone with a growth mindset sees a failed business as a lesson. Someone with a fixed mindset sees it as proof they weren't cut out for success. The difference isn't intelligence, talent, or background. It's how the brain is trained to interpret challenge, failure, and risk. And in the world of money, those interpretations determine who keeps going and who gives up. Think about it. If you see money as something scarce, you'll hoard, hesitate, and play small. But if you see it as abundant and flowing, you'll be more likely to take calculated risks, invest in your growth, and expand your capacity to earn. It's not magical thinking, it's psychology. Your beliefs about money influence your behavior with it, and behavior over time creates outcomes. Training your brain to think differently about wealth starts with asking better questions. Instead of saying, why is it so hard to get ahead? Try asking, what skill do I need to master next to grow my income? Instead of thinking, I'll never be able to afford that, shift to, what would I need to do to afford that responsibly? These are small shifts, but they rewire the way your brain looks at opportunity. You go from passive observer to active participant in your financial life. In 2025, the world will reward those who think differently. The economy is changing. AI is reshaping how we work. Entire industries are being disrupted. In times like this, the most valuable asset you can have isn't a product or even a network. It's a trained mind. One that sees beyond limitations. One that knows how to adapt, solve problems, and create value in a noisy world. So if you want to make more money in 2025, don't just chase strategies. Start by reprogramming your thinking, because the brain that believes in possibility will always outperform the one that doubts its own potential. Let me know if you want the next keynote expanded too, or if you'd like this turned into a voiceover script or animated video narration. Of course. Here's the expanded version of the second keynote. Focus on value, not just income. In a Simon Sinek-inspired educational tone up to 500 words. One of the biggest misconceptions people have about money is that it's earned by the hour, by the project, or by the job title. That it's strictly a result of effort or time. But in truth, money follows value. Not time, not effort, value. And the moment you train your brain to focus on the value you create instead of the income you desire, everything begins to shift. People don't pay for your time, they pay for the outcome. They pay for the solution you offer. If someone can fix a $10,000 problem in 10 minutes, should they be paid less because it took less time? Of course not. What they're really being paid for is the years it took to learn how to solve that problem quickly and effectively. That's how the economy truly works. The people who solve the biggest problems earn the biggest paychecks. The people who create ease, clarity, or transformation for others become indispensable. And those who simply clock in, do what they're told, and wait for a raise, they stay stuck in a system designed to keep them predictable. So the question becomes, how do you increase the value you bring? You start by understanding what people need. What are the pain points they're facing? What do they wish they had more of? Time, peace of mind, results. Your value comes from your ability to meet those needs creatively, consistently, and with excellence. It doesn't matter if you're a freelancer, a CEO, a teacher, or an intern. The moment you shift your focus from what am I getting paid to how can I serve better, you activate something powerful in yourself. You begin to take ownership. You begin to lead, regardless of position, and leadership, real leadership, always attracts opportunity and income. In 2025, with automation and AI transforming every industry, the need for human value will only increase. Machines can complete tasks, but humans who can solve, create, connect, and lead, those are the ones who will thrive. That's why focusing on value isn't just about ethics or mindset, it's about relevance. It's about future-proofing your career, your business, and your earning potential. And here's the paradox. When you focus on value first, income tends to increase naturally because people pay for results. Clients come back, word spreads, promotions happen, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it through undeniable impact. So stop asking, how can I make more money this month? Start asking, how can I make myself more valuable to the people I serve? When you become the person who consistently adds value to teams, to clients, to the marketplace, you never have to chase money. Money finds you. Because in the end, the most profitable skill you can develop is the ability to think like a problem solver, not a paycheck collector. Want to move on to the third keynote next? Absolutely. Here's the expanded version of the third keynote. Habits create financial trajectories. In an educational and motivational Simon Sinek-style tone, up to 500 words. When people think of financial success, they often picture one big moment. The breakthrough, the viral idea, the perfect investment. But the truth is, real wealth doesn't come from one lucky break. It comes from quiet, consistent, almost invisible actions taken daily. It comes from habits. Your financial future isn't shaped by what you do once in a while, it's shaped by what you do consistently, especially when no one's watching. The small choices, the routine disciplines, the decisions you make when it's easier to procrastinate, to spend, to ignore, those are the moments that define your trajectory. And here's the key. Habits are not just actions, they are a reflection of identity. When you choose to read 10 pages of a financial book every morning, you're not just gaining information, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Someone who values growth, who invests in themselves, who plays the long game. When you automate your savings, track your spending, or create a weekly budget, you're reinforcing the identity of someone who takes ownership of their future. But most people don't see the immediate reward in these things. That's the challenge. Good financial habits rarely offer instant gratification. You don't feel rich after skipping that $7 coffee. You don't see a windfall after investing $100. But compound interest, whether financial or behavioral, is always working behind the scenes. Over time, the gap between those who take small, smart actions and those who don't becomes massive. Think of two people earning the same salary. One builds a habit of spending intentionally, learning about money and investing regularly. The other lives impulsively, avoids financial conversations, and assumes they'll figure it out later. Fast forward 5 years. One is financially stable, has options, and feels empowered. The other is stuck, stressed, and scrambling. The difference wasn't luck. It was habits. Your brain, when trained with discipline, becomes your greatest financial asset. It becomes wired to prioritize long-term gain over short-term pleasure. It learns to delay gratification, to plan ahead, to say no when the world screams yes. That level of self-control isn't just good advice, it's a superpower in a world full of distractions. In 2025, opportunities are everywhere, but only those with the right habits will be in a position to take advantage of them. Because the habits you build today determine the doors that open tomorrow. Your financial habits are either building a future you'll be proud of, or one you'll have to recover from. So ask yourself, what habits is my future self begging me to start today? Then start small. Be consistent. Let the compound effect do the rest. Because in the end, it's not the big moves, but the daily disciplines that lead to lasting wealth. As we wrap up today's conversation, it's important to remember that making more money in 2025 is not about magic formulas or overnight success stories. It's about intentionally training your brain to think differently about wealth, value, and growth. The path to financial abundance is built not on random actions or isolated moments of luck, but on small, consistent, and powerful decisions made every day. Your mindset is the foundation of everything. If you want to achieve financial success, you must first believe that it is possible for you. You have to recognize that wealth is not a finite resource. It's a skill, a tool that anyone can learn to master. By shifting your perspective from thinking of money as scarce and unattainable to seeing it as abundant and available to those who create value, you begin to unlock new opportunities for growth. Your beliefs about money, your relationship with it, and your ability to see opportunities where others see obstacles will determine how far you can go. The second shift comes from focusing on value, not just income. Too many people are fixated on how much they can earn, but the key is not how much you can get paid, but how much value you can give. When you become the person who solves problems, who creates clarity, who brings something of true value to the table, money follows naturally. People pay for solutions, not for time or effort. When you focus on value, you begin to attract abundance, not by chasing it, but by offering something meaningful to others. Then we talked about the importance of habits. If you think you can create massive financial success from one big move or a sudden windfall, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. The true wealth-building journey is about the small, almost imperceptible actions you take each day. Whether it's reading a book, investing a portion of your income, or simply delaying gratification for the bigger picture, habits are what build the foundation for a solid financial future. Every action you take today compounds over time. It's not the grand gestures, but the daily disciplines that create lasting wealth. Your future self is being shaped by the decisions you make right now. So ask yourself, what decisions will you make today that your future self will thank you for? Are you willing to shift your mindset, focus on the value you bring, and commit to habits that will propel you forward? The good news is that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. Small steps taken consistently lead to massive results. 2025 is a year of tremendous opportunity, but it's up to you to decide whether you'll rise to the occasion. The choice is in your hands. The question is, will you take control of your mindset, your habits, and your future? Will you begin to train your brain to make more money and create the life you deserve? Start today. Take one action, one thought, one decision. Because in the end, your success is determined by your willingness to believe, to give value, and to show up every single day. So if you're ready to start training your brain and building a financial future that aligns with your dreams, hit that subscribe button, share this video with someone who needs to hear this, and comment below with one habit you're committing to start today. Together, let's make 2025 the year we all take control of our financial destiny.